I don't like being scheduled on a boat like that.
Getting too organized.
It's just it's my vacation.
I think I'd get claustrophobic.
Yeah.
I've never done it. I love to travel. I love to
Yes,
go to,
I love to travel too.
but I've had the opportunity to go on the cruise, but I've never actually
I
done
think
it.
cruise people are their own separate category.
Yeah, of genre of
Yes,
traveler, you know?
right, exactly. Hey, this is Deb, and this is Happy Hour with Deb, and today I have a new friend, maybe my new BFF. Chris Andreucci.
How you doing? You all right?
I am doing well, very well, thank you. We've already introduced and spoken, and I love the accent. Mm-hmm. There's one piece that's missing for me. Country music, you're from Scotland.
Scotland, yeah.
And grew up in Scotland?
Yeah, till I was 21.
21, well you still look 17, so you got some years to go. So how did this all start?
Yeah, so obviously country music here in the US does stem a lot from Scottish and Irish people coming over and meeting the music that was here.
The best people.
Yeah.
I agreed. I agreed.
And yeah, I don't know. I always did music. I came from a very musical family.
Okay.
If there's ever an Andreucci party event, you know,
right.
we're all singing until
I want to go to one.
It's
Can
really
Trevor
fun.
and I go to a party?
You would have a great time, honestly.
We are the life of the party.
You need to enjoy, you know, some alcohol too.
We will go. We will go.
But yeah, I just grew up playing music. I went to college in Scotland, and then I did an exchange program to North Carolina doing finance. And I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't even know it was possible being from Scotland to do music full time and make a living like you can here in Nashville.
Like here, well, the land of opportunity here.
And so I got the opportunity after college to come out here and do it full time, and I've never really looked back since.
So when you were younger, you played music. You were an artist. Are you a songwriter also?
Yeah, songwriter, artist. I played live music since I was 12 or 13.
So you go to college in North Carolina, and who recognizes that you're a superstar?
It was quite like random. You know, I wanted to come to Nashville. I've never visited Nashville. I knew what it was.
Yeah, you have to. It's a bucket list thing.
So
right?
I thought, let's just go and check it out.
Especially if you love some country music.
Oh,
you gotta
for sure.
Right.
So I reached out to a few publishers and labels and said, hey, I'm looking to come and see what it's all about. And a couple of them responded, and you know, one thing led to another, and they said, hey, you should move here full time. And that's
that is the coolest story.
Like, if I look back, like, it's been 3 years since I've been here in Nashville. If I look back to even like 4 or 5 years ago when I was thinking about it, I would have no idea I'd be sitting here right now talking to you.
That is so incredible. And do you love it here?
Yeah, I love it. I don't know if I will ever go back. Don't tell my mom.
Don't worry.
Every time she comes and visits, she's like, you know, I'm just hoping you maybe meet someone from the UK and you go back and live with her, and I get to see you all the time, and I'm like,
don't be wishing me into a marriage. Come on, Mom.
I need a green card, you know.
Right, exactly. Come on. Right. Are you a citizen of the United States?
So I'm not. I'm on a work visa here. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm on the O1. It's an music artist visa. It's quite a tough one to get, but it's been a good 3 years, and I go home next week to renew it for another 3 years. So
that is the coolest story ever, because you mean we've had a lot of artists, none from Scotland.
Okay.
So why country music?
For me, I think it's the truth, you know, and it's I when I do music myself, when I play music, when I listen to music, I'm always trying to escape something or trying to feel something again, or take you back to a moment in time. And you know, it's not always dark and sad. It could be, oh, that's a really happy summer song that takes you back to your...
It's memories. It brings its memories.
And as an artist and as a songwriter myself, to be able to write a song or perform a song and see someone else relate to that and maybe get a little tear in their eye, I think that's for me is like it's a drug, you know, at the end of the day, and it's what kind of keeps you hooked all the time.
Absolutely, and it is true. You know, we equate major things like weddings and to songs, and it is so true. We all have those songs that, you know, do bring the tear in your eye and stuff. But who's your artist? Who do you admire?
So I grew up listening to Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
So my dad gave me a really good musical education, and I've only got to see the boss one time. It was in Glasgow, but he's just, I just love it how he was kind of wasn't pigeonholed to one genre. He
Right.
he did a bunch of different styles, and
Right.
and the fact that he's
one of the greatest ever, right?
yeah, he's 70 years old and still playing for
I
3.5,
can't
4
even.
hours.
I know. I
Like-
just saw him on an interview too, and it's still important to him that the fans. It's not about the money anymore. It's obviously not about the fame. It's the experience. He's like, I want everyone to leave here with an experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an amazing, because it's an industry, right? We all get caught up in the money and the name and the fame and whatever it is. But I think that's such a cool thing to say.
Well, that just proves my point. He's addicted to that,
Yes.
and it's not the addiction of him being in the spotlight. It's
Right.
him for personally, he's getting an
Right.
escape from his life, and he's
Right.
also watching
And
people
honestly,
react.
do you need to perform after all his money at 70?
No,
You don't.
No, I'd be chilling on a beach. Probably.
Right. Well, not in the beach in Jersey, you wouldn't. But
Yes.
there's a lot of places you want to go. That's not one of them. But yeah, have you seen the rest of the country? Have you been around?
I've done quite a lot of America. I've done, I think, maybe over 20 states.
Most Americans don't even do 20 states.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize that, so I was telling people, I was like, oh yeah, I was over here, and they were like, I've never been there. And I'm very, 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 blessed to have got the experiences I have had since after college. I just like traveling. I've never had an issue meeting friends or.
Right. You're like Deb.
I
You
get that
leave,
vibe
you
from
leave.
it.
Right.
I
You
feel
leave.
like I'm one of those, like, because of the job that I do, everyone, and you're in the limelight, everyone's like, oh, you're very extroverted, you want to be, and I'm like, not really. Like,
No.
I'm pretty good.
There's
just being
not even a remote bone in my body. Like, quiet days like frighten people when I'm quiet. They're like, what's wrong with Deb? She's cancer victim? Like, what's she got going on?
And you're just chilling. You're like, I'm
Yeah,
just chilling
because
out.
sometimes, I don't know, you say, and I guess, you're an artist and there are some days you just got to take it down. But like, to me, those are the days that give me anxiety. Like, I like
you feel like you're maybe not
I like to
progressing.
be on, right. Or you
That's
could
one
be
thing.
doing more or something.
The thing that, like, I started noticing recently is, like, okay, I'm not Post Malone level fame, but like just
Right.
doing music in Nashville.
You're not yet, but you
We're
will
working
be.
on it.
Yeah.
But it's like you're expected as an artist, and I guess as a sports person or whatever,
Yeah.
because of the persona that people see on stage. When you come off stage, everyone's expecting you to be up here
Right.
all the time. And I didn't, when I was new to all this, I was like, I can do it. But see, once you actually are in
Right.
it, it's hard to keep that.
It
level.
is.
And it's always just, hey, how you doing? Smile and maybe a quick picture. And it's one thing that I've like I'm just trying to learn how to be that guy when I'm not that guy, because you can't be up there all the time,
Well, I tell my clients that I coach that, like, there's a time to be on and a time to be off. And if you don't have like a definitive start time and end time, or now you're off stage, I mean, you need to honestly be able, our bodies, if not, we're just constantly
You're
on.
gonna burn
There's
out.
people don't know how to sleep, and
Yeah.
and it morphs into every other.
Well, that's the thing, and the way the industry is going now, and this is in every industry. You
Everywhere.
do your work, and then you come home and you get content to make.
Right.
And then you got a podcast to jump on. You got this, and
Right.
being obviously international. I'm making calls back home. It's only 6 hours, but there's a lot going on. So that's one thing this year as a person. That's what I'm like developing to understand and live a little.
Right.
Right.
And
better.
you have to, right? Because this is your only ride. And if you have the opportunity to do what you have done, you have to take that.
Oh yeah, and my dad and my mum are very good sounding boards, and they always remind me that every time they come out here, they go, yeah, you made some good progress, and
That's fantastic.
It's always nice to hear that.
Everybody needs a cheerleader.
Oh, for sure.
And
for
I
sure.
love that. I think that's such great. And the artists that we've had, I'm going to say 99% of them have said my parents have sacrificed, and they've been they've been the greatest, and because it is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Your son moves all the way to Nashville, Tennessee.
Fiona is my mum's name. Every time she still gets emotional. I had 14 of my family over here last week.
Oh, fantastic.
My 78 or 79-year-old granddad
That's
came.
great. God bless him.
Never been to America, and he's closing down the bars in Nashville.
That's great.
But
he's our kind of guy. He's from Scotland.
He's a champ. He just
Yeah.
keeps going. But what was I saying? My mum still to this day, she'll cry, ball her eyes, and I'm saying, Fiona, I'm going to see you in 2 weeks' time.
I know.
I'm literally going to be back at home for 10 days.
I know. It is hard, though, but they must be incredibly proud of your success.
I'll so much to them. And I think it was during COVID when I didn't really know what I was. I just made the decision like during COVID to move here, and then COVID hit, and I was like, shit.
I know.
You know, and that
it
was
turned the whole world upside down.
And that was when my mum was like, she was you know, being the voice of reason. She's like, see, maybe this is a sign from God not to be doing something that's very against the grain. No one in my family has ever not had a 9-to-5 job.
God would want you to live your best life.
Well, that's what I was thinking, you know. But it was my dad.
God wants me to thrive. That's what he wants me to do.
Exactly. My dad and I were having a beer one night, and I was like, man, I'm kind of lost. I was like, I don't really know what to do. I want to do music. I don't have any real opportunity to do music yet. I just got told to move here and I could get a visa.
Right.
But there's also the chance of like I could go into a job that I'd done some internships with the company. I could go into to finance or it was any aerospace or sales.
God, that sounds like womp, like who wants to go into finance when you could be a rock star?
Well, it was kind of womp. And eventually after the internships, I said, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So, but my parents have sacrificed so much for me, and I'm very, very, you know, motivated to go and give something back to them.
That's great.
And it's not always monetary, but it's like an experience.
Absolutely. And they must be very proud of you. I always say good people come from other good people. So,
I agree with that.
You know, so that they must be incredibly proud. So where have you been playing? Tell me where you've played. Tell me the most exciting crowd.
Yeah. So I've played all over downtown Nashville to cover gigs. We've had some fun doing that.
I bet.
But we've been doing a lot of solo stuff, original stuff.
Right.
Play the Bluebird tomorrow night, actually.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Friday night. It's sold out. I'm excited for
it's
that.
a great place.
Yep.
I've heard every artist is like loves it there.
I've done it once before, and I think because it was my first time, I was kind of, I don't know, like a little hazy just because you were trying to take it all in. So I'm really excited this time, and I feel like I've made a lot of progress since that last time, so I'm excited.
That's awesome.
We did a really cool thing out in Vegas with my good friend Lil Skinny. Have you met Lil Skinny?
Well, we had him on our show.
Okay.
First of all,
he's a good
you don't
dude.
even know. They're like brothers from another mother.
Hell yeah, okay, yeah. He's a great friend of mine.
He's a great guy.
We did 12 days playing out in Vegas 2 years ago for NFR at the MGM Hotel.
Yes.
And man, we've just had some really cool experiences, you know, over the last 3 years. You know, getting to play down in Key West, going to Belize, San Pedro, Belize, to play for 2 weeks. Like, you can't even fathom like how these things happen. You know, like you have an end goal. This is how I live my life. Like I've got an end goal, but you don't really know how you're going to get there yet. But there's all these little random things that happen along the way, and the people you meet.
Yes. The doors will open if you make yourself available.
Yeah, and I think you've got to be vibrating at a good, you know.
Yep, absolutely. You have a good energy. You do. He does too.
He's a hoot, man. We've had a lot of good times.
We were like, how do we keep him? He is fantastic. He was on the show, but he's great. And that's great because you kind of have the same energy. Like he's got great energy too.
We get along like a house on fire. We've got some funny stories that are probably not for the camera, but
he is a scream. We do. I'm happy that you're hooked up because it's nice to hear. You know, we've had this is what I love about country music. It's not a cutthroat industry. I mean, it's still an industry. There's still bigger names than not, and but I love that we just help each other along. You know, like that is such. We had 2 artists in this morning that are friends, and we had them individually on the show, and it's like a brotherhood. You know, they write for each other and they support each other, and the one artist I got to meet his family, and it's just a community of just like let's go. 100%. I love that.
I think that's quite unique to Nashville.
Yes.
I've written with some guys that have been based out in LA for the longest time. And they come to Nashville for a session and we write, and they're like, oh, this is so different, or they're like, or they much prefer the energy in a Nashville room.
Yes.
That's a question that I get asked a lot back home is, oh, it must be really competitive out there. And I'm like, okay, yeah. You know, as you said, it's an industry. People are trying to progress.
Absolutely.
You know, get to that number 1 spot.
Everybody comes here with a dream. Sure.
But that's what blew me away when I walked into like Red Door one night, and the first time I ever was in Nashville, and oh, this is my friend Chris. He's a songwriter from Scotland. Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah, that's
we'd
so
love
cool.
to connect with you. And okay, you don't work with everybody. You know, you find the people that are your clique and that get your.
Well, in any area in life, you find your tribe. Yeah. Right. You find the people who are your tribe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very, very unique place, Nashville, and I think that's what keeps the magic about it. You know, look around; it's changing every minute,
every second.
But there's something that's still magical about Nashville,
there really
and I don't think that's going to go anywhere.
I'm so happy you came to Nashville too, because so many of my friends, you know that I record here, and they're like, we've never been to Nashville. I'm like, you've never been to Nashville? I'm like, for God's sakes, I'm there every month. You gotta, like, it's such a cool...
It's like, what, the number 1 place to visit, or top 3 places to visit in America right now?
I heard it's now the #1 bachorette party. Right? You've seen a lot of those.
Yes, I live in the Gulch, which is like in between downtown and Midtown.
Yes.
And I hear them. I hear them.
Right.
They're on those pedal taverns, and I go out for a run in the morning, and I'm...
Oh my gosh, which is funny. Listen, if you're getting married, you damn well should be on one of those things. That's what I'm saying.
Hey.
Rent those suckers out to everybody.
Yeah.
But it was really funny. Last time I was here, I was walking down to have dinner with a friend from this hotel. And this woman, like, completely drunk, but God bless her. I mean, good for her, you know? And she's like, oh my God. She ran into me and she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, no worries. And she's like, I'm getting married. Like, started sobbing.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh God, I cannot put on a therapy hat right now. Like, this is it. I'm like, no, this is the best day of your life. She's like, is this the best day of my life? It's like the funniest thing. Like, if I would have had some footage around that sucker, I could have been a billionaire.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's what Nashville, I think Broadway can do to you, you know?
Yes.
One too many tequila shots,
yes,
you know?
It is. I know. I've flown down here for shootings on like Friday nights. I'm like, they've been pre-gaming for days before they even got here. Mm-hmm. I like those people.
The thing is that's crazy about Nashville is Monday to Sunday, right? Every day of the week. You walk down Broadway.
Exactly.
10:30, there's people already drunk.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, you know, people joke around about being Scottish and everybody can drink. We still have like a normalcy, you know, to our
exactly.
to
we
society.
still work all day.
Yeah, like we'll go for a beer at night and have a few drinks and a party's pretty big. But it's like people get an escape when they come to Nashville, and that goes hand in hand with what we were saying about music, you know.
Yeah.
And I think you walk into every bar.
And it is a city where there's live music
everywhere
you go.
Okay,
even in the airport, there's live music.
Airport, hotels, everywhere.
I mean, I love it that you can just instantly. Yeah, it is. Quite honestly, I'm gonna be honest. God bless the day drinkers. God bless them. I think we all secretly want to aspire to be those people.
Yeah, I mean, if I could afford not to like have to play or be in things like this during the day,
like,
I would probably.
Be honest, when my friends say they're meeting for lunch and wine, I'm damn jealous. I'm like, I want to go. You know, you feel like I'm missing out on stuff. But God bless them, and people that come here is just. I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about it.
No.
It is. So what did your parents think?
So my dad works for an American company.
Okay.
So he's been coming to the States for years.
Okay.
And my mum obviously traveled a lot with him too. So my dad had been to Nashville, but my mum had never been, and that was within the first 6 months of me moving here.
Wow.
I was broke. I had no gigs. I was like, looking back, I actually don't know how I survived. Someone asked me, they were like, oh, you must have been playing a lot of shows when you first got here, and I was like, I'd like one a month.
Oh my God, little Skinny told us, like, he's like, my parents were like, you're not doing anything, you have to bring your ass back home.
Yeah.
And we were laughing because, you know, that's another, you know, persona that people have. You guys come here and you're famous, they name a bar after you, you got bachelorettes puking on the floor. Like, it's hard damn work.
It's a hustle. So that was like, my mom came here.
It's a hustle.
She left. I remember she left and she called me and she said, you know, she's like, I don't have a clue what you're doing with your life right now. She's like, I'm sorry.
I don't either.
and I was like, I don't know. And like, you know, hearing that as a young guy, I was 22 at the time, you know, and you go and try and process that. And I was like, have I made the worst decision of my life? And then, you know, another 6 months passed and she came again. And I don't know, you know, I just naturally made some progress, you know, and kept doing what I was doing. And I'll never forget the day she was like, well done, you know. And she's a lovely woman.
You must have felt so good inside.
She just wants the best for me, and that was the warmest feeling ever.
All mothers do, and that's why she still tears up because no matter how old your kids are, it's still hard to watch them turn. Like I see my daughter grab the car handle, I'm like, like you do because you know nobody ever wants their kid to ever be past 2 years old. So you know it is. That's great. I'm so happy that they love it here too. Tell me about networking. People people watch the show and they're like. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Nashville, and I'm going to start playing music.
It's it seems an easy thing to do, right? And especially for Americans that, you know, you guys can be 2 states away and just
get
a U-Haul drive here and move here.
Right, exactly.
And if it doesn't work out for you in a year, I'm going back to BFE somewhere. You know, I'm going back to Kentucky or whatever. Whereas for me, I didn't really have a choice.
Right.
The biggest part for me that I still tell everyone is you've got to, like my first year I was out every night. okay, I enjoyed to party a little bit,
right.
but
that was a bonus with the job.
That was the biggest investment in my career that I've ever done.
And that's expensive too, to be able to go out every night.
Stupid money.
Yeah, you have to. Right, I say stupid money too. Like, it's so funny because the cost of networking is expensive.
Yeah, and you're talking like tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, absolutely. Unless if you're Irish or Scottish, then it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes, I think maybe that's why it was even more for me.
Start tipping the scale on how expensive it is, because we're jolly too, and we're like, buy everybody around.
Well, we get excited, but networking's massive, and it completely changed how things work for me. I mean, okay, we get some cool perks. You get to hang with some cool people, Post Malone, Morgan Wallen, all these guys.
That's so great. The merge of them too makes me my heart happy.
I'm glad country music's doing something different.
Yes, me too.
But yeah, I think networking is essential, and I think that's what people don't realize about Nashville is it's just as much about having the look, the sound, the song, as it is to have the people,
Yes.
and like I know people that are, not, I wouldn't say as talented as other people, but they've got more opportunities because they're great.
They're networking.
They've worked their ass off in a different way.
It's a full-time job.
There's no right or wrong way to Nashville.
Yeah.
People think they'll honky tonk downtown for 10 years and I never made it, but you're just stuck down there. You've got to do a bunch of different things.
Right. It is so true. I mean, especially when you come here, and coming from another town where you were successful, there's a lot of fish in this pond.
Oh yeah, it was funny to go from but I think that's what happens with a lot of people here. You come from being you can sell 500 tickets and whatever
exactly.
in Glasgow, Scotland for me, and then you come here and I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Right, exactly.
Like, who does he think he is? And I'm like,
yeah, I know, but I think that's the importance of like shaking hands, and you don't know who the next person is. Mm-hmm. You never know who you're talking to.
Well, that's the same thing. Like some of the people, like to name somebody like Ella Langley, like I knew she was always great. Was always something. There was a buzz around her, but then like. I swear I blinked for 1 second and the next she was like amazing. Like you just don't know who it's going to be.
You never know who the next one's going to be.
And she's killing it, so fair play to her.
Yeah, she really is. So do you handle your own social media, your own booking? Do you have a manager or no?
I've got a manager, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so she deals with a lot of stuff, but booking, etc. But social media is all me. I quite like to keep that authenticity there.
Yeah.
Because you can tell, see when an account changes to been maybe run by a company, you're like, it's a bit more corporate now.
Not my media team. They handle for my other company too, and I'll tell you, but it's so important to align yourself with someone. The second I met them, I'm like, that's my team.
Yeah, you can tell you've got a good vibe.
We have the three of us are like family. Mm-hmm. We pick each other up and we take care of each other, and the importance of them believing in me. Because anybody could say, oh my God, I love her podcast, but I mean the importance of them knowing that, we're in this for the long haul.
Oh yeah.
So it is, and social media, its own job. Do you ever go down the rabbit hole and like, oh my God, I lost a viewer?
Yeah. It's hard not to.
You wouldn't be human if you did not.
It's hard not to, and it's also hard not to compare yourself to other people as well, which is one thing in this town you've got to keep.
Yes, you do.
But
because what makes an artist is great is authenticity.
And that's what people buy into.
Right.
And obviously I was in a sales background. Like if you don't believe and understand every single piece of what you're trying to sell, whether it's a product or my product's music.
We're all in sales.
Yeah, you're selling something.
We're all in sales.
So if I'm sat here with like a cowboy hat on and a big buckle, no one's they're like, that guy's not real,
Right, exactly.
So
Little Skinny pulls off the big buckle.
Oh, he's from Nashville, Arkansas.
He's from Nashville, Arkansas.
I'm not a Boondocks boy.
Right. I think that it is so fabulous that you guys are friends. He's one of our favorites. You're such a great guy. I'm so happy that you two are aligned.
He's a great dude. He's one of my best friends. Yeah.
You have to tell me you're on the show today.
I will do. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah. he was at my gig last night. He popped in with our buddy Rocker Steiner, the PB, like the rodeo guy.
Yeah.
Rocker was there.
He's got a connection everywhere too, because I love the humbleness of the guests that have been on this show. No one walks in here thinking they're Beyonce. Like they know this is a grind.
Oh yeah.
And at any given second, you have to be one step above the next, and it's hard. It's really
well. That's the thing for me is like, okay, this is my first 3-year visa, right?
Right.
To think that that's me at the end of it now, but I feel like it's just starting now, you know?
Right.
So with this new one, I'm like, okay, I've got the balls rolling, there's traction, there's people...
Yeah, I was going to say, how's that process to get a work visa to come?
It's pretty tough. So you've got to get a sponsor, you've got to qualify for certain criteria. It's stress. It was really stressful the first time.
I can only imagine.
I've got a good attorney, a good immigration attorney. So she's done me a lot of good. I think I'm going to go for a green card after this one.
That's going to say, how long do you have to be here before you can be a citizen?
I think it's 5 years until you can get a green card, and then after that, I don't know how
or
to
you
get,
can go marry an American.
Well, that was the easy option. I was kind of banking on that at the start, but it didn't go well. So
the problem is, if it doesn't end well, you got to get more attorneys involved.
Yeah,
it's just a rabbit hole you don't want to go down.
They'll take half of all my music.
Right. That's what I get. Only half as rich as you used to be.
Oh yeah.
That is crazy. So what's up and coming? Where can the viewers find you? Where can they get your music?
Yeah.
Where can they
So we got some new music coming out. We've got one more single this year. We're doing a 6-song project in the new year, very early on. I'm excited for.
Great.
And yeah, we're going to be on the road in the new year. I'm in Glasgow in December, doing a big headline show in Scotland.
Fabulous.
600 caps. I'm really excited.
That's great.
And then next year we're in London and Manchester, and then we're going to be in the US a little bit too.
That is incredible.
So I'm still.
You have to keep us updated because we want to go.
Yeah.
We definitely want to go.
But all my dates and stuff are on my socials at Chris A Music Official.
Okay.
And yeah, I've got you find everything up there.
What's the most exciting thing about this ride?
This ride so far is I think back to my main point, like seeing other people have a shit day at work and walk in and you're playing a song that maybe I wrote or maybe I'm just covering, and
right.
It completely, you see their whole day change. And I think, it doesn't matter if this is all it ever was. I think that's something that will always stick with me, and it's actually made me a better person. I've learned so much about myself.
That is incredible.
Just because
I do have
art.
to ask you this. I always ask guests, because you build a fan base, right?
Yeah.
And these are people that are spending money and spending their time. I mean, that's truly, where time is so short in this world. What's the nicest compliment you've ever gotten from a fan?
A compliment? I had one. It wasn't a compliment. Well, it was. I was playing a show and this woman messaged me. I kind of knew she'd come to a few gigs, and she said, I'd love to catch up with you after the gig if that's okay. I said, yeah, no problem. I went and met her, and she pulled up her arm and she had the words, I love you to the moon and back.
Stop
and
it.
I've got a song called To the Moon and Back,
Yes.
and it's about somebody leaving and they might never come back, they're gone, and it's, I love you to the moon and back. And she said, her grandma passed away, and the last thing she had from her was a note that her grandmother wrote, I love you to the moon and back.
Wow.
And she got her the lyrics tattooed in the handwriting. And I think, again, that's
mind-blowing.
something that I made up in my mind and came from above, a song,
Right.
lyrics.
Right.
Completely impacted somebody's life in a positive sense.
That is such
and they're willing
amazing
to
feeling.
ink it in their arm for the rest of their life.
Right.
That was, yeah,
I just
actually
think
completely
it's
forgot about
so
that.
incredible. That's what I mean, and we were talked about, being so humble too. But I cannot even imagine somebody, rolling up their sleeve. Trevor, do you have a happy hour with Deb tat on there anywhere?
Tat?
You have a happy hour with Deb tat anywhere on you?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Let's go and do it, man.
I know.
I'm off today, so.
Let's go now. We'll stop, get some drinks. We'll all get tats. Let's go.
I'll go get one right now.
Trevor would.
I'd
See,
do it,
Bradley was the other gentleman that was here. It's his company. Bradley is the one who keeps us in control.
Yeah.
Trevor and I alone would be mass
Chaos.
destruction.
Devastation.
We would be we'd be filming from upside down in that pool that we snuck into. We would be a mess. So he pops in every now and then. He works for some large names here, but I mean, it's very funny because he's like the boss, right?
Yeah.
We're pull it together, Bradley's coming in. That's
awesome.
amazing. What is it like to get some rejections on social media?
Yeah, rejection's a big thing that you've got to learn to deal with pretty quickly,
Yeah.
because you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of negative comments that can happen. I had one song that blew up, and the one piece of advice was, Chris, never fucking read the comments. Never read them.
Yeah,
and of course, you're like
Right.
that. And a big part is that I noticed is it was quite often people from the UK, right?
Right.
And
Sam haters.
Yeah, or people from America, like, how's this guy singing country music? What,
Right.
So that's one thing that some cultural differences is. It's sad, but in the UK, it's quite like everybody doesn't want to be everybody wants to be on a plain,
Yes,
level playing field.
It is very different.
And
here.
if someone's like doing a little something different or against the grain,
Yeah.
they're going to say something. Whereas in America, which is one thing I think is amazing, you guys are pretty confident people. You're brought up to be very confident
Yes.
and out there as kids, and differences are quite, and excelling in something is encouraged.
It's great.
So going from the way I was brought up to then having to do it as a living and getting used to some of the fame or the popularity, to then having people back home going, loser, or someone from Texas going, that's not country music.
Right.
That's something that's that you learn to deal with. But initially, it can have an impact. You look at a lot of the celebrities that sadly
have had very mental illness.
Take their own lives and stuff because of online stuff.
In my world, if you can't be nice, then don't say anything.
What's the point?
Because you have no idea what you're doing to another human being by doing that. But I also remember this: you're not even a rock star till you have some haters.
Exactly.
You're a nobody until somebody says you're garbage.
And some fake accounts
but
that are asking people for money.
I'm like, well, why are you watching?
Yeah, unfollow me if you don't like it.
Like, put your fingers in your ears if you don't like my music. I know, it is the craziest, but you are just charming and such a delight. Here's my last question. Will you come back and hang out with us?
I would love to.
And we would love to have you.
We can grab a happy hour and hang out.
We have shot in a lot of bars, but that is also like, okay. By the end of that day, you're like blowing bubbles.
Oh, I bet.
But we do encourage. That's why it's called happy hour.
Okay.
Like who doesn't love happy hour?
It's my favorite time.
It's me too. Me too. It's my favorite. And who doesn't wait for 5 o'clock?
Exactly.
Everywhere. But we would love to have you back, and we'll certainly follow, because you never know. You might see Trevor and I in the audience.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, Dan.
Oh my gosh, you're a delight. We can't wait to have you back. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.